We're back again. Brooke and the Bell, just here to chat with you a little bit, just how you like it. And shout out to Trang Doe because she had a special request about entanglement. So we're going to get into a professional entanglement here and break down our thoughts on a few stories, a few of the topics of the week.
That's already the word of the year. That's already
of the year
in the lexicon. That's already in every individual's language that wants to do something on the side. It's
entanglements. I think all of my exes were entanglements.
you ain't taking any of them too seriously. They was just a little thing that happened.
You don't have to be mad at people from your past. You don't have to bring them with. It was an entanglement, you know.
Okay, I'm feeling it. Yeah. Well, in case y'all were under a rock and don't know what we're talking about, and Jada, Will, August Alsina, we sort of dodged it last week because we were like, it's a little.
It felt inappropriate before she spoke on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now everyone has said some of their piece, and the jokes were flying. Listen, I'm gonna tell you first and foremost. At first, I was like, it's messy. Then I laughed. And then at the end, I got angry.
Really?
I got angry and I got angry not at Will, Jada, but at fan reaction, at Twitter reaction, at social media reaction.
Okay.
To me, it's just a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of people thinking they know what's right and what's wrong and they could tell other people how to live their lives. So I had a little bit of anger, but I'm gonna let you start off on what you thought and just watching this when it dropped.
So I, like the other 85 million people who stopped what they were doing that day to watch this, I watched it. It was completely entertaining. My biggest takeaway from all of this is they didn't have to do this because this was not the first time that August himself, singer August Alsina, he has kind of alluded. Do you remember the text message screenshot thing that was that last year or the year before? I think that was last year, but Jay didn't say anything. She didn't talk about it. She didn't say anything. So what fascinated me the most was that they didn't have to do this. I know Will made the joke that they wanted to clear things up because Black Twitter was, but people have been making up things about their marriage, about their life for decades now. And they don't speak on anything and they don't have to.
Yeah, also, but it was a different level this time.
Was it? Because
it was before. Again, I think what's missing, and we'll talk about August Alsina later, my feelings on him, but it's different because this time it was real traction. Like before, this is his third time doing this, like talking about him and doing it and talking about Jada and doing it for the press. But this is the first time he got real traction. Again, no one really knows about that song. I think the biggest thing is everyone thinks this is the first time that August is talking about it.
Right. It's not. It's not the first time that people have been talking about it. People saw pictures. People were making assumptions. But also, every time Will does a movie and he has chemistry, he is one of the greatest actors. He's regardless of whether you like his movies, some of them, he is a fantastic actor. And there's a chemistry with any woman who's kind of like a leading lady with him. And there's always rumors. Mm-hmm. And so I put these in the pot with all of that. Like people just like to think things about them because it's just too good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like their marriage, their family, their success is too good. And so people like to, find a problem, make up a problem. But
this time it was with Angela Yee. And Angela Yee has the type of pull, has the type of press where everybody's going to start talking about it. It was
you did a full-blown interview.
It's never
it wasn't just a picture.
Yeah. So I felt like this time they felt like, okay, not only did you do it with Angela Yee and it's getting a lot of press from Black Twitter and every Twitter, but everyone seems to be siding with August Alsina in this scenario. So let me tell my side now. So
I respect that. Yeah. I still think they didn't have to. But I also, when I pressed play on that, I did not think Will Smith was going to be sitting there next to her.
Meaning,
I was like, oh, whoa, oh, let's go. Okay.
I wanted to have been sitting next to her, and after we get through this thing, there's plenty of reasons that say he should have never sat down with her.
No.
So what was your other takeaway before I cut you off?
I honestly, I like them. I think that whatever the specific rules or details of their marriage is, it seems really strong. And for me, the most believable part, the biggest takeaway that I got from it was the part at the end, like she was talking about like how she didn't believe that there would be somebody who could love her through anything, and that he had said that. And he asked her, it was just really cute. It was like not for the cameras, it seemed like. He was like, well, how am I doing? And she said that did she say you're doing an amazing job? And he was like, all right. I believe them. I think they were making a joke when they said bad marriage for life. I think they have a long marriage. I don't think that people were taking that very literal, like they have a bad marriage. They know they have a bad marriage. I think they have their own marriage, and it works. I think.
But
tired.
In addressing it, I felt like Jada was way too nonchalant.
Will thought that too.
Yes.
Which is, remember the part where he kept being like, spell it out.
Yes, and even then she kept saying entanglement. We were
and he was like, no, it was a relationship.
Funny enough, entanglement is actually the correct usage. If you Google or look up the word entanglement, it means being in a sort of complicated relationship.
Okay.
Like that is the second meaning. So I was like, oh, all right, like we're making jokes, but that's the actual term. But it was like she was real nonchalant. And on the other hand, Will, even though he was acting and pretending to be happy, didn't look like he's had the best of time. So I would have liked to seen Jada get a little more serious, put a little more into it than to look like, okay, there's one man over here that's heartbroken, and there's my husband over here who seems like he's been through it. But I seem like I'm just kicked back, chill. I'm just whatever. I was like, come on, Jada, you got to give us more than that. And people wanted an apology, which I don't think she needed to give.
Right. I think one of, I think, like the most honest criticisms I saw was that the age difference. He was much younger and obviously in like a vulnerable health state, like when they met. And even though it wasn't romantic, like per Jada's story, I think that was one of the most like non-joking criticisms that I saw. And I think that's where like people were saying that there should have been an apology. But if it's two consensual adults, I still don't feel good about him going on this like album tour, telling what is rightfully his business, but like also hers. I think that I don't know. I don't think you always get to harm other people just because it's your story too. I think that you can, but should you?
Nah, he's a sucker.
I don't know if that's sure, it's not against the rules, but was it the kindest thing to do? Yeah, I don't know. I think that they were put in a really weird position. I also think, like, listen, I don't want anything to do with somebody who's married and separated. Honestly, I just don't. That's not for me. Yeah. Definitely not somebody who's married and so happily separated that they're cohabitating. I don't, like, that seems like a sticky situation going in. Mm-hmm. And what happened? They got back together.
Yeah.
And it appears that the other person got hurt and is still dealing with that. He feels not good about a situation that he felt really great about. And now he's working through that with the public. And obviously both of them took risk. Like, he took a risk with his heart, and maybe she did too, but she also took a risk. There's another person. You're really, really, really famous. It's not likely whatsoever that you're ever going to meet another party in this world that has as much to lose, and not even to lose, like somebody telling your business, they're not going to lose anything from this, right? But like your privacy, you're not going to possibly meet anybody else that has as much to lose as you. And so
listen,
like worst case scenario for everybody.
Listen, I'm just gonna go on a quick rant real quick. Like,
go for it.
Like first and foremost, like people are really acting like this is something that's that far out the norm. Like, couldn't it be me judging their situation? You know what happened? Yeah. Two people were in a relationship, married. They got separated and then got back together. How many people go through that? How many people get back with their exes? Why are you acting
a lot
like
more than you know, yeah.
Why are we acting like this is something crazy? And most of your exes are Kenny, who works at Foot Locker, who has 2 baby mamas and has cheated on you in the past.
I'm clarifying. Will Smith. You mean by you mean the
I'm talking about people. I'm talking about
Twitter, because I don't know Kenny.
Yes, not you, Brooke Thomas. I'm talking about in general. The people who are talking about this, none of them probably have even been in healthy relationships. When they've been in relationships, they've been in crazy, messy situations, but yet you judging somebody else's situation. Like, that's one of the things that annoyed me the most, okay?
Right.
Stop judging their situation and acting like this is far-fetched. They broke up, they separated, then they got back together. That's something that happens all the time and across the board. And secondly, it's not cheating if you are not together and the 2 individuals give each other's blessing to do whatever they want. Cheating is doing something that you're not allowed to do. All right, going behind somebody's back. They were separated. They said they were done with each other. We're broken up.
Also, cheating is not it's dependent on the relationship, and the 2 people who would have been the ones who would have been the cheater and the cheated on are both saying that it wasn't cheating. That's enough for me.
Yeah, right? Like it. Again, they said we're separating. It's over. And I know a lot of people had issues with, well, why would you date or do other things while separated? Like, yo, they both said, like, we are done with each other.
Right. Yeah.
We are done. And let me kick some knowledge for people who don't know. If you're in a long-term relationship for 15, 20 years, it means, and you decide to separate it, that means the last 2-3 years, you were basically mentally checked out anyway. Right? So once you get separated, in a lot of places, you can't get separated or have a divorce. You have to be separated for a year to have a divorce. Mm-hmm. And you're not just going to have the divorce when you have all that money. You have to do all of that in just a year time span. So in all that time, you expect people not to move on and have other relationships? Will Smith was doing his thing also. Let's be clear. During that separation. So stop saying he got cheated on and all that other nonsense, because it's not true. They were separated. They did their dirt. But again, they came back together, and that's their decision. That's what's best for their situation. Everybody can't have the same type of marriage and the same type of, like, it annoys me, people with their nose up in the air, acting highbrow and saying this is how it should be, and that's a messed up situation.
Very few people, I think, have the type of marriage that society and like TV shows like depict as like this is what it's supposed to look like. People just don't talk about the differences in their own personal lives because of this, because of this like weird judgment. But
50% of marriages end in divorce, and out of the 50% that stay together, about 20% are unhappy. So maybe we need to rethink what a traditional marriage should look like. Maybe
I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, each marriage should be tailor-made. Yeah, you're right. But I'm just saying, a lot of these idiots on social media who think it should be this way and it could never be me, well, mind your business.
Yeah, I'm with that. Mind your business. But also, thank you for sharing your business with us, because we are incredibly nosy. And once he put it out there,
it's entertainment.
I enjoyed this.
It's entertainment. But
you know, what did you think about the little part at where Will was like, "I'm gonna get you back, though"? If you were separated, what is there to get back? I found that curious.
The embarrassment of this entire situation. Will Smith has been a celebrity for 30 plus years.
Right.
He's been someone to keep his business in check, out of the public eye. this is the first time he's had anything like this tabloidy that was actually, proven fact or whatever. So for him, it's the amount of embarrassment that like every joke is on Will right now, even though he did nothing wrong.
Right.
So
I get that.
I think in his mind, it's kind of like.
So how would he get her back though? By dating somebody messy too?
I think he was joking, but at the same time,
he was definitely joking.
If I, smash something else, don't say anything. Like, you can't say, like, look what you put me through. Like, I don't think he'll actually do that, but it's just like, it's a thought that runs through a man's mind. Like, look what you did.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Anything I did during the separation was kept quiet and wasn't going to embarrass you in any way. Like, I made sure I didn't mess with somebody who was mentally unstable and was emotionally a certain way.
We don't know I think mentally unstable is unfair.
Well,
we know that he's not private.
August has talked about it though. He's talked about having mental illnesses.
Yeah, but like not necessarily how that came into play with this. I think we know for sure that he just is not as private of a person as they are.
Yeah, but I'm saying, right, I'm saying he's emotional and was going through mental things, and that's part of the reason why it's going now, due to what August is saying. But let me also say this on August Alsina, I don't think he's as hurt as everybody says. Right? Like,
you think it's a business thing? You think he's promoting his music?
Yes. Like, some people I had arguments
because it's timely.
Yeah. Some people had arguments in saying you can't tell someone when to talk about their personal stuff.
That's true.
But I will say this. When you decide to do it, says a lot about what you're trying to do and your character. So he's done this, like I said, 3 times.
But he's been doing it,
Every time he does it, it's right before an album drops or when a song drops. And it's talked about, and it's Jada. It's almost like Kanye. And we'll talk about that later. When he goes through his mental lapses and he goes crazy and does something stupid, it's always right before an album. So are you going to trust that individual and what he's saying if every time he does something loopy or has a mental breakdown or talks about his hurt with Jada, it's right before a song drops?
I mean, their stories line up though. So he was telling the truth. It was just why he was telling it.
But that's what I'm saying. You're telling the truth. But I don't believe you are as emotionally hurt as you say so, because you want to just be doing it come album time.
Yeah. I respect that. Real quick, because we got to move on, but the reaction to like Keke Palmer's tweet about him was aggressive. But I will say, I saw that back and forth, and he felt like she was like subtweeting him because she started with just a comment that was very timely to the situation, to the video. I think she was talking about like minding your business or something like that. And then somebody basically like assumed she was talking about him and was like, it wasn't the shoe. She posted a picture of the two of them and she was like, yes, but he was never my man. You guys need to stop digging. And then he just like unloaded on her. And while that level of like anger didn't seem warranted, if we have a friendship or we had a friendship or me, don't subtweet situations that are about me. That will bother me too. So it would bother me. I don't know. It seemed more like a gun when somebody poked you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I do.
My thing is they might not be, they obviously don't seem to be on great terms. But
exactly.
If I say, everybody mind their business, basically what she said, and then all of a sudden you get details talking about text messages, stuff like that.
And let's not even repeat it, because it was mean.
You were sweating me like
very mean. Yeah.
Check this out, fam. You was waiting to do that to her. This further lets me know that you just want to be messy.
Yeah.
All the time. Like if somebody says something, even if it's a subtweet, but it's highly respectful of saying, yo, everybody mind their business. Then you want to get mad? Like, stop it. Like, that's another reason why when him and Jada got together and everybody was like, oh, she's older and she's young. Yo, people who are going through things that they consider mental or depression, getting together, that's always going to be a bad situation. I think Jada was going through something mentally. I think August was going through something mentally. They got together and it didn't end well. But there doesn't always have to be a villain in every relationship that ends with one person being really hurt.
I think, I'm not a doctor, so I can't, I really can't say like what that had to do, but they were obviously both dealing with life. I think what this seems to have come down to was that a single person got involved with a married but separated person who then turned out realized she wanted to remain married.
And that's what you're gonna get. That's heartbreak. It is what it is. But it's not like she wasn't making sound decisions because where she was at in life. But still, like you know, to me, he's just emotional. He's chatty patty. Him, that Keke Palmer. I'm just like whatever. But again,
It was mean. Yeah.
I'm more annoyed with the fans and them acting like they know what a perfect situation is, and it's just like when we talked about Insecure and Molly. I think these people have been in this situation way more than they want to admit. Just like Prentice said, a lot of people have Molly in them and they don't want to admit it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's why they get mad. Like, no, you've been in this situation, so stop acting like their situation is so nuts.
Also, I did see two people who were supporting each other and like obviously being willing to like talk about something that was embarrassing, not really anybody else's business, and stand together and do it. I don't know. I think that says something.
Yeah. And Will is fed up. You can see it in his face. But, that's their business. Let them work through life. And whatever
they were standing together. So I don't know. It's like people want them to be really unhappy. Every corner you turn, they look pretty locked in.
Yeah. They'll be fine. Mind your business. Keep your own relationship in gear. Okay.
Yeah. And just like, don't share things that just when you're mad, I don't know. It's okay to like, some secrets are supposed to be kept.
Yeah. Don't be a chatty patty.
Yeah.
All right. I mentioned it before, but we got to get to Kanye. I don't want to spend too much time on this clown, but Kanye West, he announces that he's running for president for 2020, which is in 4 months. Then he does a whole entire interview in regards to running for president. He says, he doesn't support Trump anymore, but basically he doesn't support Biden. And if he runs, he doesn't mind taking votes away from Biden that will help Trump.
Right.
So, Brooke, shoot.
I think I have different views on this than everybody else. I think that the biggest issue here is the coverage. I think that, and there has been something, and I have been like struggling with this, not struggling with, but trying to understand. But I do think that, and I saw there was a big conversation about this happening like since the Forbes article that came out, which went into even more detail, and it was all over the place, and it was wild. And I think that while even when you're struggling with your mental health, I think you are still responsible for your behavior and other harm that you cause. I think that we can't only be supportive of somebody struggling when we like what it looks like, when it's pretty for us. I think that if we want to be advocates and helpful, I think that this is not pretty. It's not pretty. His wife has talked before about how, he's not on medication, and so they monitor his episodes, and we've seen manic behavior before. It's not pretty. I think he does cause harm with some of the things that he says and some of the things that he's supported and done. But I think that he's obviously struggling. I'm not making excuses, but I think that we cannot only be supportive of, and I'm also not saying support, but I'm saying like not piling on when we know that somebody is not okay, just because they're willing to talk. And so for me, I think the biggest issue, number one, a random person said he was running for president, 4 months before, is it 4 months? Sorry, before the election, hasn't made any like actual decisions, like hasn't filed anywhere, actually can't legally file in a bunch of states, can't be on the ballot, hasn't made any actual, taken any real action other than just an attention tweet. And major, media outlets covered it knowing that he technically isn't running for president. So really it was just this famous person who tweets outlandish things did so again. And then one of like the highest up journalists at Forbes, because he has a relationship with him, did this full on interview and published it with, this highly respected publication, took their time to do this interview that, if we're honest, just meant nothing. And I think that you are allowed to be frustrated with somebody with power, and a big fan base adds to the conversation in a way that is harmful. But I think that if we want to be supportive of people struggling with their mental health, we have to keep that same energy, even when we don't like what it looks like.
See, my take is a little different. And I agree with everything you said. I don't think it necessarily applies to Kanye.
Yeah. Why? How so?
I, just like August Alsina, question the amount he's struggling mentally. Because
I don't at all.
To me, if it happens every time you have something to sell, it says something. It's almost strategic. Every time, if you go back to all the things where we say he's doing something outlandish, where we say Kanye did something wild with the mental breakdown, he sold something at the same time, or
but he's
directly after.
His company's different than August, though. He's constantly selling something.
Yeah, but it's right before. Like, Kanye doesn't drop albums all the time, right? So
right.
Kanye,
but he drops shoes and sweatpants.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it always becomes like right before. He's not dropping something. I haven't seen him drop anything when he's not making a rant. It's like, yo, I made this rant, I dropped this song at the same time. I guarantee an album's coming. When the last time he went on a big rant, Trump rant, he then did the list of artists where he dropped one every Friday. The rant before that was right before the new Yeezys, when the Yeezys weren't selling. Like, to me, it's always strategic. Kanye has been quiet for months now. And we applauded him during George Floyd of not speaking at all, but only donating. but only donating, right? He donated a lot of money, helped out families, but said nothing.
Went down and marched.
We said yes, and we said great job, Kanye.
I mean, I didn't say anything. I
think when I say we, I mean, yeah, I say we.
I know you mean like colloquially, like the society, yeah.
It's just like we as
because
a culture,
it was surprising
as a Black community. Good job. That's what we want from you. Don't. But when he decides to talk again, song, album, sneaker, he's silent in between those cells. Then he says something wacko. So to me, that's why everything he does is fraudulent. Again, I don't doubt that he's suffering from something. I doubt how extreme it is because it seems so strategic. And mental health doesn't work that way. It's not strategic. It doesn't happen when you need to sell something. So that's why I'm like, I don't know Kanye. But either way, I'm just not paying attention to him. It's not, like you said, we shouldn't be covering it. We shouldn't be paying attention. And but also the fact that he's like, at a crucial time, I don't care if, they write in ballots and it takes away votes from Biden. Like, yes, you may deal with something that's mental. I don't know to the level of what. But when it's really harming communities in the culture, I can't accept it regardless. So, both, legitimate takes, and I agree with you, but who knows? But
yeah.
Either way, I agree with you. Get them out of here. Get them out the paint.
Yeah. That's where I stand. Yeah. What's next? What do we have?
Next is, listen, man. I mean, who doesn't love Jill Scott? Like, I don't understand.
Everything. Go. I'm sorry.
What? Like, I'm not even going to say the clown's name, but an XFL player you know, comes out and has a tweet that basically says, I don't, tell me if I'm wrong, but it says, y'all really find Jill Scott attractive?
Right.
Is that what he said?
I think that, yeah.
As a community, I was proud though. I was like, we all came together and got this man out the paint. Don't you talk about our beloved Jill Scott. Like, I don't know what your definition of beauty is, but we all love Jill and she oozes sex appeal. So get out the paint, you XFL fake NFL player. Don't ever talk about our queen like that. And I'm glad to see as a community, we have Jill Scott's back. That's the way.
Jilly from Philly, Sean Bell from Philly. Sean.
I mean, what was your immediate thoughts?
Yeah, I think that he kind of called himself out a little bit in like one of his follow-up tweets, saying that like he understands why people immediately went to like Black women shaming, fat shaming, and he understands because so much of the conversation is always bashing groups like that, right? Mm-hmm. And he tried to say that, you know, that wasn't my intention. I understand why people saw it. And I think regardless of your intention, Black women, and whether you think they're ugly or not, is such low-hanging fruit. Like, okay, join. It was just lame. Like, bigger women, same thing. It's low-hanging fruit. It's corny. And also, I think that what type of person do you want to be? Listen, Twitter is for fun. It's for jokes. It is for random thoughts that don't mean anything. But do you really want to be the person who takes a completely innocent human being, right, that you don't know, that's never done anything, and put their name on a platform and ask, do people think they're pretty? That is just deeply mean. It's gross. And regardless of what his intentions were, like, it just felt childish, and it did feel like really juvenile, like kindergarten. Like, that was a mean thing to do. Not the worst thing in the world, obviously, and I'm sure she can handle it, because this is not the first time that people have questioned why others. It just was. Is that really who you want to be? That's really lame. That's who you want to be. You want to like ask whether people think a woman, an actual human being, is attractive on your Twitter. That's who you want to be. Yeah. All right, because that's who you are right now. So okay.
Yeah. And how is it hard to find? How is it hard to believe that anyone finds anyone attractive at the end of the day? Like,
yeah, I don't find her
attractive.
Behave like that attractive.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. But you know, when it comes to looks, like, yes, we find her attractive. So, and it's okay if you don't. But who cares? Like, this is our business. That's your business. Like,
right.
So how could you act like you're shocked that they find this beautiful Black woman attractive? What?
Yeah, it just was a gross way to use your platform. And we know who you are now, I guess. And that's.
No, we don't. I still don't know his name. So
I don't remember his name. But,
I didn't look at back. I didn't look at follow-up tweets. I you know what I mean? Like, I didn't look at who he is, what his career was. You're nobody to me, okay?
Yeah, I feel you.
Jilly is Jilly, okay?
Jilly
you talk
from
about
Philly.
Jill Scott or you talk about Erykah Badu, I'm fighting you.
With his incense.
And last thing we'll talk about this week or this episode, Naya Rivera. Mm-hmm. Again,
very sad.
Very sad. There's not much to say at this point. I just want to say prayers up to her family. She was on a boat. Her son was on the boat. I forget his age. I think I saw 4 years old.
He's 4, yeah.
4 years old, and she didn't get back on the boat. We don't know what happened. They still haven't found her after several days. So, you know, prayers out to her family.
I think, God, I think about like so much about like how protected I was as a kid, right? And I'm sure the same for this little boy, but also how scared of everything that I was as a kid. Like, if we were in the grocery aisle, like if we were checking out and my grandma forgot something, she would no, like, don't ask me to go get it. Like, we got to go together. I'm not walking through these. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and so I think about like this little baby was on a boat that just they drifted, I guess, back to towards the dock, and he was sleeping, or whenever they found the boat, he was sleeping on it. And I just think my heart is just going out to this little boy, just for even those little moments. And God forbid how he's feeling now, having not seen his mom for days, but just those little, how scared he must have been. And it's just so sad. And I don't even know what, can be hoped for at this point, except for just peace and like just grace for their family,
Yeah, and along the lines of that, I'll just give quickly my first thoughts. Were kind of morbid. My first thought was, man, if I die, I want it to be when my kid is under 2. And I say that because, like, as a 4-year-old, he fully recognizes that's my mom. Where's my mom? Daddy, where's my mom? Grandma, where's my mom? And everybody has to ask that question. As opposed to, if I was to die when my kid was 1, it's a tragic thing, but he's not necessarily missing me. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't know to recognize that person was my father. That person isn't around. Like, and I know that's
I get what you're saying. That it's harder to cope with when you have more understanding.
Yes, I'd rather that than my child to have somewhat of an understanding his entire life, and that understanding shapes who he becomes as a man, sometimes in a negative way, because he missed his father and he actually knew his father. And so same thing with her as a mom, how that's going to shape that 4-year-old child, because you knew your mom. Now you're asking where your mom is. And yeah, so tough situation. But
it is a really tough situation. It's really sad. And there's no conclusion. There's no answers really right now for their family. And it's horrible.
Horrible. Well, Brooke.
All right.
There's we have more things to talk about, but we keeping it a little bit short. Some of the stuff we can't save for the next installment. So I feel like we got plenty to say, but there was plenty to get out today, and we had to spend a little extra time on Will, Jada, August, Kiki.
I mean, just for fun. Why not?
Yeah. But everybody mind your business, like Kiki said.
Okay. If you watch this video, thank you. Leave us comments. I don't know if you noticed, like I go through, I'll write back to you. Also, share this with your friends. Tweet this video. Mm-hmm. Bring it back to us,
That's right. Tweet. There's going to be
anything else Brooke you want us to do.
Sean Bell Live, tweeting, Instagram. We'll have it up. So let us know if you got any questions and you got anything you want us to talk about. Let us know.
Yeah, I want to do like an Ask Me Anything at some point. Like where we answer random questions.
That could get.
Yeah, it's ask me anything and then with like a star.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I'm not the open one.